Hey guys, Nash is back, and I wanted to do another video on Nordic symbols, particularly the ones that, well, people like making into things they're not supposed to be because they're assholes. I was browsing the hell site known as Tumblr the other day, and I came across a very interesting post by somebody who was saying that Norse pagans have a responsibility to basically call out people who misuse their symbols. And I found that funny because a majority of us do. The problem is the mainstream media doesn't really take us seriously. They see Norse pagan and they go, oh, like the Marvel movies, right? Yeah, you're all a bunch of weirdos. And then they talk about how Asatru is a prison religion, or it has something to do with Aryan Brotherhood, or something along those lines. And we're just over here like, yeah, that's not what we said. Maybe you should listen to us. And the mainstream media is like, anyway, back to our regular scheduled broadcast. I get flagged on Facebook every time I try to post a runic inscription or even specific runes and what they mean to try to, put things out to my non-pagan friends and be like, hey guys, this is what Othala means. Facebook really hates Othala, by the way. It does not like Othala at fucking all. So I went on the good old Anti-Defamation League's website, because, I mean, where else are you supposed to go? Runic writing in general is just racist, apparently. Under general hate symbols, I see the ADL cited a lot in different posts about, oh, symbols are bad. So I decided to go straight to the source for this particular video. I don't know why this guy felt the need to spell out hate in runes really crappily. Like, I mean, I have my ink. It says John Hancock. When your first and only tattoo references John Hancock, and that's about it. There you go. You know you're doing life right. So yeah, the ADL specifies that, the runic alphabet is a pre-Roman alphabet widely used across Europe. And assholes have decided to commandeer it for some reason, and they have helpful... God, these tattoos are terrible. Ugh. Yeah, so just runic writing in general, just as it is, just runic writing's flagged. Othala in particular, so we got dear old Othala here, which is supposed to symbolize, family relations, and when my Othala post was originally flagged on Facebook, I wrote Facebook a thesis about, family doesn't mean like, yes, my white family. No, family is what you make it, dude. It doesn't matter who's in your family, your friends can be your family, family is what you make it. And I wrote out this whole thesis about, that's it. That's what it means. It means family. And in my opinion, my not so humble opinion, that's whatever you want to make it. Doesn't matter who's in it, where they're from. That's a bunch of bullshit. It's whoever you want to be in your family. That's your family. Nobody else has the right to tell you otherwise. Yeah, Facebook never got back to me on that particular thesis. I guess Zuckerberg just went over his head, must have got lost in the spam folder. I mean, there's not much to do with Othala. I mean, I've heard it said that when it's like bent like this, that's supposed to have Nazi connotations. I'm still pissed off at the fact that somebody decided to corrupt this symbol for some reason. It's specifically irritating. I mean, we've already covered all runic writing, but now they felt the need to specify specific ones, which Facebook has taken to heart. Yera is apparently used a lot as well. Didn't know that one. And apparently there, we got alt-right, white guilt, something for something, 100% white, 100% pro-white, 0 white guilt. That is not a proper sentence. What does that have to do with Yera? Why? What I'm learning from this today is that Nazis and racists are a bunch of idiots who don't actually research their symbols before they use them. We got Elhaz. Elhaz is bad as well, because later used by white supremacists who continued to use the life rune, and it became very popular after the neo-Nazi National Alliance adopted it as part of their logo. You guys didn't even try. You just copy and pasted it. So, white supremacists and the like aren't just stupid and don't do their research, they're also highly uncreative individuals. That's what I'm getting out of it. Ooh, and they really do shitty tattoos. We want our country back now. What, Norway? Wait, is this an American fucking... Hold on. Yep, group in the United States, and they want their country back. I'm pretty sure this is what the Native Americans said. Next up is Tyr. Yeah, we got these assholes who decided to be bitches. And then we got some really bad tattoos again. You know, maybe the reason they have really shitty tattoos is because no self-respecting tattoo artist will ever actually tattoo them. They're not allowed to go anywhere reputable. They're just like, hey Phil, I bought a tattoo gun online. You wanna tat me? Which kind of makes me question, because I want to get... I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if you can see that. That's the other snake symbol, which is often used to represent Loki. That's what I want to get on my forearm, taking up my entire forearm. And I was planning on eventually, when I am able to save up funds, to actually, you know, just dedicate both of my arms to, like, you know, Norse themes and runes and stuff like that. But now I'm kind of questioning if I go into a tattoo parlor and I'm like, oh yeah, I want, you know, like this Othala tattoo, if they're gonna be like, oh yeah, huh? And then we got good old Mjolnir. Jesus Christ. So, Mjolnir, they fucking tried to co-opt that. So basically, and Valknut is also fucking listed under general hate general hate symbols. So that's all runic writing is basically just don't get runic writing tattoos, because that's a bad thing. They've co-opted Yera, Elhaz. These guys took Elhaz. Tyr. Wasn't there another one? Where'd Othala go? I closed that one. Othala. Mjolnir. Valknut. These assholes have felt the need to co-opt each of these symbols, and now anytime you type in Asatru or Norse paganism or something into Google, it comes up with, oh yeah, prison religions. Which leads me to the fun topic, because when I was in a speech class like 3 years ago, we had to write different speeches on different topics and everything, but we could pick our own topics of varying whatever. So at one point I wrote about Asatru, and I chose to say Asatru instead of Norse paganism because I wanted to give people a less broad topic to deal with, so I just narrowed it down to that. So I did a whole speech on Asatru. The problem was, the criteria for the speech was we were supposed to use the school's, like, database. The database where they have all these different news articles from reputable sources. And I typed in Asatru into the database, and all I got was prison religion, Aryan Brotherhood, racism, all of this stuff. I did not get one article on religion as it is supposed to be. So I had to dedicate the entire half of my speech. I did not even get to talk about Asatru in full or any real depth of Norse paganism, because I had to dedicate half of the speech to this is not what this is. Part of me is kind of glad that because I would have thrown it in anyway, because it does need to be talked about, but I had to dedicate such a large amount to it. It was fucking irritating. But on the one hand, I didn't want people to try to look it up themselves, get this, and think, oh, Nash is a fucking asshole. It just co-opted so much of, you know, the reporting that's done on it or anything is reported on with all these fucking groups, which is great, but you also need to, in these articles, actually, you know, seek out actual Norse pagans and get their actual views on things. And that was what the post on the Hell site was saying, was that, oh, well, these symbols make people nervous, so don't be shocked when people are wary of you. And then it goes on to state that we need to do more as a community to combat this. That sounds great, but I can't legally go and behead people nowadays, you feel me? And I wish I could go and behead these people, but I can't. Yeah, I get the fact that people are terrible and they're co-opting these things. At the same time, we're not being given the platform that we need to be taken seriously enough to openly call it. I mean, there are many pagan groups who have called out this kind of behavior. Has it stopped the assholes from appropriating these images? No, they really don't care, because they're a flock of assholes. And no matter what we say, they're gonna be like, because they don't care. So we can try running our mouths all we want, but then the sources that do reporting on this all report on the negative aspects. making myself really small right now so you can see the title. I saw this on my Facebook at one point. Facebook recommended this article to me because apparently Facebook is a bag of dicks. So Facebook recommended this article to me, how a Thor worshipping religion turned racist. So, yeah. The article goes on to state by dear old Rick, good old Rick, fans of The Avengers aren't the only lovers of Thor. We looked into the current observations of Odinism and Asatru, religions that celebrate the Norse gods, to reveal their dark, white supremacist underbelly. Because of course you did. Because you literally could not be bothered to go and actually ask actual practicing Norse pagans about what they actually do. Instead you're like, you know what would get more readers? You know, not to, like, actually inform them about an actual religion or anything. Now let's go report on how it's racist and terrible. Yeah, that'll spread discord and dissidence. The ceremony of Blot is carried out by followers of Odinism and Asatru, two denominations of the same religion. I mean, I guess you could phrase it that way. But then that gets into you got like folkish heathens, you got universalist heathens, because there's no central, really, there's nothing holding it together. It's kind of a free-for-all, and people use different terms, but some people take terms to mean different things for them specifically, but they still like the terms. But then there's the assholes, and it's a thing. So anyway, denominations of the same religion focused on worshipping the Norse gods. There's Odin, the god of war, death, poetry, and the alphabet. Freyr, god of virility and fair weather. Freya, goddess of love and fertility. And of course, Thor, the hammer-wielding god of thunder and lightning, as portrayed by Chris Hemsworth in the Marvel movies. Yeah, Stephen McNailen came along and was a dick. Stephen McNailen, he was the one who influenced a lot of my speech, and he was the one that, didn't he write something on the, I remember when I was, like, first getting into paganism, and I was hearing Asatru Folk Assembly thrown around a lot in a negative way, and I was like, huh, I wonder why, and then I looked them up, and they were, like, a bunch of racist pricks, and I'm like, oh. Wow. See, I thought my biggest problem was going to be people not liking Loki. It turns out that there's bigger pricks in the lake. So, speaking about prison, I guess, prisoners, I guess, can wear Mjolnir, which is why every now and then you'll hear a loud horn blast rattling the cold prison walls before the cup of mead is passed, and why prisons are now, if not chock full, there are no stats kept on inmate religions, then at least somewhat comprised of large, angry, heavily tattooed white guys wearing necklaces that your precocious preteen Avengers fan may have on his Christmas list. So basically you're equating the actual god Thor to Chris Hemsworth. This is not even the same symbol as the hammer used in Avengers. As a very geeky person myself who has never missed an MCU film, I mean, I enjoy the comic books too, because I'm a huge fucking comic reader as well. And I get a kick out of it. I think it's great. And if it introduces more people to Norse paganism, even if it's in a pop culture form, cool. But then there's people who are supposed to have journalistic integrity, good old Rick, who can't seem to actually research their facts and figure out that, hey, there's a religion that doesn't celebrate Chris Hemsworth's abs. I mean, there probably is a religion somewhere that celebrates Chris Hemsworth's abs, but it ain't this one. Now, Vice is by no means an actual journalistic site that anybody should get their news from. But that was the one article that Facebook constantly keeps recommending me. Like, it's been recommending that to me for... When did that article even come out? That came out in 2015, but it keeps recommending it to me even today. So yeah, there's a lot of those, and I don't even think any major news outlets have. Norse pagan Nevada guardsman insists he's not connected to hate groups. 2 guardsmen who follow the Norse pagan religion were kicked out of the Georgia National Guard for their ties to a white supremacist organization last month, but a Nevada National Guardsman who is also Norse pagan strongly denies any ties to extremist white supremacist or bigoted ideologies. In December, a National Guard granted Sergeant First Class Benjamin Hopper a religious exemption to wear a beard out of respect for his adherence to Norse paganism. A beard, there's no... I mean, yeah, beards are a thing. A lot of Norse pagan dudes have beards, but it's not a requirement. Currently deployed in Afghanistan, Hopper said via a statement that the beard is sacred to Norse pagans and an important mark of pagan masculine men. Nowhere in the Eddas or a saga or there's no there's in the Havamal, there is not a passage that says, "And Odin decreed all men must wear beards to show they're masculine." Yeah, beards are great, but I mean, he is not involved with Norse pagan groups such as the Asatru Folk Assembly that are associated with white supremacism. There is a growing movement among Norse pagans in the military for the right to wear a beard. Not all Norse pagans and related heathenry groups agree on its religious significance. Director of Open Hall's project that supports Norse pagans in the military says his organization does not condone the rise in requests for beards from pagan military personnel. I guess if it's a personal thing, like if you personally feel that it's like a religious thing for you, then go for it. But I guess it would kind of be like the hijab. It's like, it's not necessarily a requirement, because some women choose not to wear it, but for others, they choose to wear it because it is a symbol of their faith. So I guess it's kind of like that with beards. If it is a show of your faith and it makes you feel more faithful or connected to your faith, then you should wear it. Anti-racist pagans are vocal in pushing back against the racist fringe sects in society and the military, especially because Norse pagan symbolism is being adopted by some white supremacists. There's a loud minority in the military that are also white supremacists, but they're loud, and that's part of the problem. Well, I mean, at least you guys recognize that there's a lot of people that are like, fuck these guys. So, yeah, there's another article that's by the Las Vegas Sun, so that's not a major news outlet. But, I mean, I'd love to see, like, you know, CNN being like, hey, let's talk about Norse paganism. We're never gonna fucking do that, but it seems like some people are under the impression that, you know, like, actual Norse pagans don't speak out about the appropriation of these symbols. We are. Hi, we're here. It's the problem with these assholes. It's like that one bird meme. It's like the bird shouting meme. It's like, hi, we're not racist. We're not, hey, we're over here being assholes. We're fucking assholes. And then actual Norse pagans are over here just like, really? And they're still just shouting a bunch of fucking assholery over here. I'm totally gonna make that my thumbnail now at some point. But yeah, I feel like that's what these fucking assholes do, is that they just get so much press. They even though they're a very small minority of people in Norse paganism, for some reason they're just louder. More people pay attention to them because it's, you know, it's the negative, and it seems like a lot of humanity thrives off of the negative. Like, oh, let's see what the worst thing we can find out about things is, and that's just entertainment anymore. So I don't know if this has been cohesive at all, but the point is dolphins. The point of this was supposed to be about, you know, there are all of these symbols that are now listed in the Anti-Defamation League's database of hate symbols. And I keep getting flagged on Facebook. There's, you know, people think that Norse pagans aren't doing enough to combat racism in Norse paganism. I mean, I will behead people if you want me to take one for the team. Is that going to get flagged? I'm not actually going to behead people. I don't even own an axe, unfortunately. I'm not a real Viking, guys. I don't own an axe. We do try to speak up, and these symbols, I mean, if somebody who is, you know, supremacistly inclined ever, you know, stumbles upon this video, stop taking our shit. The Vikings weren't a bunch of racist assholes. No. I mean, pillage some monastery. As long as you're not, you know, you're not working at Lindisfarne, you should be fine. Anyway, so I don't know if this has made any sense, but I wanted to run my mouth for a bit about, you know, these symbols. It's a lot of stuff to go through. But anyway, that was me running my mouth on a bunch of different symbols that people have, that now have negative connotations. But, I mean, we're still going to keep using them because, I mean, I know I'm not going to let a bunch of assholes win and take my shit. I mean, you know, just eventually, maybe one day we'll actually become louder than the assholes around us, and that would be great. I mean, until then, I guess I can keep posting these videos and trying to educate people on the fact that Norse pagans aren't what the mass media makes them out to be. So, I mean, if you like this video, hit that fucking like button and tell me that you liked it. leave a comment underneath, and yeah, I'll totally do something about that. And yeah, subscribe if you aren't already subscribed, so you can see my face talk more about these topics and play some stupid video games at some point. I will eventually get back to that, and we're just do that because everything's just eclectic over here in Nash land. So, until my next eclectic trip onto the internet, I'll see you then.